the lander had undocked, because I tried to undock it, but it didn't work. So the lander was basically bouncing around in there, and it exploded the entire craft. So I will be taking it easy with the landers for a while. Oh, nice. It actually is one of the best things I know, just to hop onto Twitch.tv or see any other streams, or if there are tournaments and stuff like that. It's really relaxing. Actually, I got this idea from a colleague at work. He plays KSP as well, so we challenged each other to get, I think it was 5 tons payload to orbit with a single stage to orbit plane. But then the way I work is that I really can't stop. I really can't stop perfecting my build, so I went a bit overboard, and now my craft has about 3,000 joules of E extra when I get to orbit with the payload. One thing that I'm really happy with is that this really looks like an eagle or like some kind of bird, which is kind of cool. How much are we climbing again? I'll push it up a bit. There we go. I just need to double check for all my air intakes open, 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 open. And I haven't set the internal ones on any action groups, so I don't need to worry about them. Alright. So let's see here now. So the impulse has gone down, but the thrust have gone way up. This had about 150, I think, before. No, it had less. Now my thrust away is slightly above 2. When I started, it was 1.10, I think. So I have almost doubled my thrust to weight by just gaining 20,000 meters. The thrust keeps climbing, which is insane. Whoa. This plane is so sensitive on the stick once you gain some altitude. And I really just want to go up like this. It's basically the way that I designed it. Since I have, let me see here. I think it's all these parts that makes it go up like that. I'm not entirely certain, but I think that's the way it is. Luckily, you can have some inline stabilizers, just to make it a bit easier on yourself. Do I only have 1,000 meters per second? That's not okay. Oh, I'm not as high up as I should be. Whoa, 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 whoa. It has never done that before. Okay, so basically I do not want anything more than maybe 20 degrees thrust offset from my prograde vector, because then it will just make my life a living hell. Did I offset the weight in some kind of funny way? Can you see the torque? The thrust offset. Oh, we're almost done. We have a thrust torque of about 120 kilonewtons. That's way too much. That's way too much. I will probably need to look into that. Alright, so we're up at 30,000 meters, and you can start to hear the engine scream. And I will definitely need to pitch down before my ship stalls out. And I need to do that fast as hell. I will eventually, maybe I need to shut off an engine. I will see if the air intakes hold or not. I just need to pitch this down because we're at the limit of what this craft can do with 3 engines. So basically my plan is now just to hover around this height and increase my speed as much as possible. But I will need to... Whoa, come on. Alright. We will have to shut down an engine. Let's keep going. Can't you read the names? Is my interface too small for the stream? Is Nedfen and Bob? Maybe I should lower my resolution or something like that. So let's see, what do we got? Oh wow, this craft really is nice. I should probably pitch up a bit. So, as you see, I probably could have put a couple of more air intakes on, just to make sure, because it's at this height that you really get results. Below this height, you need to have a hell of a lot of thrust to get somewhere. And the air intakes, or rather, the air resistance is way higher. If you only go 5,000 meters lower, so when designing your single stage orbit planes, it's very important to just smack on very many air intakes. And some say it's a bit cheating. I say it's a part of the game. I like building single-stage orbit planes that are efficient. So we can probably just pitch down a bit to get a good climb, and then just push this plane up into orbit. You see here, now my thrust to weight really starts hurting. But it's okay, because since we are so high up, the gravity doesn't have that great of an influence, you can say, or rather the atmosphere is thinner, so you don't really get slowed as much by the air resistance as you would have been normally. Alright, so my torque just became insanely less. I think it's also something that has to do with the air resistance. So once you get up above a certain point, it's all fine and dandy, but just in that 25 to 30,000 meter interval, my plane really starts stalling off, which I will need to look into. And there we have the plane shift. So technically we have an orbit, but it will be a very short orbit, because if I turn my engines up, we would just plummet down. And now I would really need to keep a check on this, because I don't want the vertical speed to be too high. My goal here is to push the flaps up as high as possible with the jet engines alone. And in order to do that, we need speed. We need a lot of speed. So we're almost at 22,000 meters per second. I think as soon as time to shift it over. I will see how high I can go with this. I mean, I still have a lot of intake air, but I barely have any thrust. These only deliver about 100 kilonewtons of thrust each of the plane. So I have about 200. Yeah, I have 215 kilonewtons of thrust in total, which is it's pretty little. I see the plane becomes harder and harder to control. It wants to shift up, and that's because we're close to getting an engine failure. Alright, so let's disconnect that and ignite our rocket engines. We can let it drive on the turbojet a while more because we have some intake air. I can just push this up the last bit. So let's see what the trajectories mod says. Okay, we're not out of the heat yet, but we're getting there. I think it's about 120 or so in apoapsis. That makes sure that you are safe. As soon as we get a white strip here, we could actually turn it off. I usually want to push it out a bit more just to be on the safe side. We can actually just push this up a bit. Let's see here. Oh, wow. I must really have a narrow ascent then. I think something is wrong with the trajectories mod, but I'm not certain. It might be that I keep pushing it. If we do something like that, we could probably... Wow. This is still going, by the way. That's pretty fun. As you see here, it delivers very little thrust. Very little. It's like insanely little actually. And we can probably turn them off now. Yeah. Okay, so we are out of the blue. So that is how you do SSTO ascent. And now we will just coast up until our ramp arrives. Wow. Would you look at that? We have about 3.6 K of delta V. That is insane. Which I like. Insane is good. Let's just hold our thumbs that we actually can get to June and back in a decent